What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Jammin with J Money from sportsbookreview.com. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button and subscribe if you can. Make sure you guys go and check out the site. Hit the link below if you can, man. We got all types of picks over there, articles, going to compare odds over there at sportsbookreview.com. I'm J Money, and that's my guy, Teddy Covers, man. What's up, Teddy? Everything good with you?
Yeah, I'm having a crazy hair day, Jay. What am I going to do, man? I need a haircut. It's flying up all over the place, but I appreciate you having me on, even when the hair is flying all up. It's fun. Like I was doing the buzz cut for so long, and then my wife, during the quarantine, my wife's like, "Well, let's see if you can get a little something up top." And then it's like, I got coming on air like this, so maybe it's time to go back to the buzz cut a little bit. But I'm doing okay. I split out last night. I had the Bucks minus, which was lucky, very lucky. It was lucky.
If the late three had went down, Teddy, it would have been totally
different. I mean, the foul on Giannis, the offensive foul on Giannis, which the score tied it would have been Boston ball. What, a minute and a half left or a minute left?
That was the wrong. I mean, Smart was in the restricted area though, so I'm a realist. Some people say that he should have fouled out there. That was a blocking foul. Your foot can't even be on the line even a little bit. So I mean, it was a foul. Smart got there late. They got it. I'm glad that they got the call right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they can go back and look at that. Yeah, I'm sure you are, but just as a basketball fan, period, I didn't have a bet in the game. Just saying they got the. I like to see the refs get it right. I'm just a fan of no matter who I'm going for in the game, whether I have a bet on it or not. You'd be surprised. We could be going for one team, and if it's not right, I'm like, hey, I know that wasn't the right call. I mean, I'm a basketball fan, and I play basketball too.
You're going to say that with a straight face. That when you have a bet on a team and the call goes, it's a bad call, but it favors your team. You're like,
depends on what type of call. Teddy, depends on what type of call. If I'm saying if it's in the middle of the game, no, late at the game, obviously that's a whole different type of story. But in the middle of the game, you know what I'm saying? Just pure basketball, I'll say in my head, obviously I'll be smiling. Hey, I'm glad that happened, but you know what I'm saying? Just being a realist, I know that we got lucky there. But just to recap the games yesterday, real quick, Teddy. The Magic blast the Nets. The Nets ended up outscoring them 36-17 in the fourth quarter to make it seem like it was a little bit closer. But I mean, that was like a 25-point game. The Magic were absolutely smacking them boys up, man. They ended up getting the win, 128-118. They covered the 7-point spread there. Got bet all the way up from 2.5 to 6.5, 7, closed at 7.5. They end up covering the spread for pretty much everybody there. The Memphis Grizzlies go to overtime with the Blazers. I had the Blazers there minus 3 and minus 3.5, and we get pretty lucky there. I really think that it shouldn't even went to overtime because I mean, obviously the Blazers are up already, but we end up going overtime. The Blazers start with 11-0 run. That was pretty crazy. Still let them there come back, and then a late reverse layup by Dame and gets us to cover. So I'm glad that we got that one. The Suns end up smacking the Wizards. Not too much of a surprise, but the Wizards were in it. It's just their defense just let go of the ropes. The Suns ended up covering that 7.5-point spread, ended up winning 125-112. And the Bucks game, and just like we were just talking about, the Bucks ended up covering. Man, it could have been a late three. I think that was Tice that took that late three. But regardless, the Celtics ended up going down 112 up to 119 to the Bucks. There, they ended up getting the cover. That one closed actually at 3.5 there, Teddy. Some late line movement, and the Spurs, man. The Spurs burned me. I didn't expect them to look so good. That game went way over. We talked about that as well. 120-129 for the Spurs and them getting done. And my Mavs ended up. There's 2 OT games yesterday. One of them went in my favor. The other one didn't. I had the Mavs. We were up by 6-7 points with a minute to go, man. And if Hard missed the last free throw, covered and get a tip up, get it. You know what I'm saying? Make it go overtime. We just got that rebound. We got fouled. Would have been good, man. Teddy, what stood out to you yesterday, man?
A ton. All right. Let's start with this, all right? We pat ourselves on the back when we give out good advice. I got to slap myself in the face. I gave out some real bad advice on yesterday's show. Well, and I understood why I gave it, but I'll give myself a slap for there. Because what we said, we we can't bet overs till we see an over. And then every game, the pace on Thursday was there for a pair of overs, but the offensive execution wasn't. On Friday, the pace was there in every game. But this time we had I think the refs whistled. It felt like they whistled a lot more fouls yesterday, which when you're playing overs, that's what you do. That's what you want. You want as many free throws as possible. It's not about offensive flow. It's about getting as many points as you can on the scoreboard with the clock stopped. So the pace was there yesterday. The free throws were there yesterday. And the defensive execution, when we talk about who played good defense yesterday, trying to think of anybody. The Mavs played good D down the stretch of that. Or sorry, the Rockets played good D down the stretch of that game against the Mavs. And that's why they won the game. I mean, obviously the missed free throws, the offensive rebound with your 7-4 guy sitting on the bench. Good move, Carlisle. What was the difference between winning and losing? But from an execution standpoint, the Rockets played tough defense in the fourth quarter. They got there. They didn't start there, but they got there eventually. I don't know that a whole lot of teams did, and that's probably a good sign for Houston moving forward that they were able to clamp down on Dallas defensively. Memphis-Portland, that was a great game, Memphis-Portland. I don't care if you're an NBA fan. I don't know. There was as good. I think that was the best game since the restart, and there have been a bunch of them. That was a fun game, back and forth. Glad you were able to catch your ticket there. And I don't know if I have a takeaways other than that both teams look to me to be bet on versus bet on. Blazers and Grizzlies. I took a flyer on the Wizards plus the point. I didn't think Phoenix could be laying. The Wizards defense, I mean, that was Olay defense if I've ever seen it. They were Swiss cheese. Brooklyn and Washington both looked outclassed by mediocre teams yesterday. That's not necessarily a great sign for either squad moving forward. We talked about the Bucks, and I'd rather be lucky. But let's not forget, even though I got lucky at the end, let's see. They had the own goal that Tatum got credit for on his 2 of 18 shooting night, where he was really 1 of 17. But Giannis put one in. They had that 3-pointer that bounced off the rim and bounced off the top of the backboard and fell. It felt like there were a good handful of plays throughout the course of the game that kind of went in Boston's favor. So the fact that the plays down the stretch went in Milwaukee's favor, maybe I'm saying that as a homer or someone with a buck sticking in his pocket, but I felt lucky to win that game, but I didn't feel like I had a wrong side. I really didn't. Sacramento and San Antonio, I mean, the Spurs came out shooting. They were hitting everything. And something to do with that. And that game was really fast-paced. We saw a lot of money on that over. It was all right. Certainly, Darren Fox was an offensive spark plug for Sacramento in the first half. We and you were talking a little bit off air about Fox. And I was saying, but he was so dominant in the first half that I felt like Sacramento didn't get their flow right out of the gate. And when I've got a point guard that can score and distribute, I would much rather him open the game distributing, getting everyone else into their rhythm. And then if he has to, you take over the scoring in the fourth quarter. With Fox yesterday, it was kind of the other way around. He found his mojo, man. He was taking to the whole basket after basket, but none of his teammates got into an early rhythm. They fell into a deep hole and ended up being a little bit too much for Sacramento to overcome. And then, of course, we talked about Houston-Dallas, a game where, and Carlisle took the blame in the news conference afterwards, like it's my fault. Yeah, it was. I know your players missed free throws. I know they didn't get the offensive rebound. But personnel on the floor is up to you, buddy. And when you have a 7-4 guy who's going to grab that rebound with his feet on the ground, you leave him on the bench. At least it's a little bit on Carlisle.
Yeah, and he's not a bad free throw shooter as well. So, I mean, even if he did get the ball and get fouled, so fucking what? You need to get the rebound first, man. But you can't just assume Harden going to make those free throws. But versus the Kings, man, Buddy Hield 2 for 13 with 6 points. I mean, what the hell? I know, and you can't just blame him come off the bench because he's used to that. So, I don't know, man. It definitely needed more from Hield yesterday. I mean, the Spurs had Forbes and Patty Mills sitting out, a couple of their backup point guards, but we know they're deep at guard. But I mean, they even though it was a high scoring game, they tried to play some defense yesterday. Fox went off for 39, but like Teddy said, it didn't matter because everybody else wasn't in the groove. You got to get Hield in the groove, man, because when he gets there, it's really like give Buddy Hield the ball and get out of the way, man. I've seen it plenty of times. No matter, even though he come off the bench, he can have when he get in the groove, bro. He can go for 40 points, man, any night. But yeah, the Blazers, they looked pretty good yesterday. I can't say look pretty good in that first half. Obviously, the Grizzlies are always gonna come back and give effort. They're never when we talk about energy, we talk about teams that can find their own energy. The Grizzlies can definitely do that. I mean, Jammin out there you got Jammin, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks out there, Valanciunas. They got an energetic team, even though they're missing Tyus Jones. That's going to be something to look out for. And the Celtics, even they still look good as well. That game was tiff and tat. Again, I was surprised to see because at first it looked like the Celtics could have easily been blown out. They came back, took the lead. It was 1-1. I mean, you have players like Marcus Smart on your team. You're in any game, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was a couple of late. They could have went either way. I still think the Celtics could have possibly very well covered that game. And my Mavs, man, it was another good game as well. It's going to be interesting to see this game versus a couple of games coming up. Some teams that won their first game versus teams that lost a tough one. And we know that the team that lost is a much better team. So we'll see what those lines will be. Get to it. But no, let's get to today, Teddy. We already got news coming out. Did an article on this first game where we already knew that Barton and Gary Harris is going to be out for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray was questionable. I said he probably was going to play. That's what I put in the article, that he probably was going to play with these two out, like Jamal Murray out as well. Pretty much the three best guards, I mean, in my opinion, for the Nuggets, defensive guards as well. Which Murray, hadn't been balling like that anyway lately. But like the heat here, Teddy. What you got? Tell them what you got in your pocket, Teddy.
Yeah, so I mean, I talked about it a little bit on, I think it was Thursday's show, about look aheads, and I'm like, and you're like, don't give it all away, don't give it away, but I'm got to because this line has to move. At the time, I put Miami +2 in my pocket. They're -2.5 right now. So I'm with you. I got the Heat in my pocket. Here's the quote. All right, as soon as I saw this quote, it's your bet on quote, or it's not your bet. It's your bet against quote. Mike Malone, Nuggets head coach. Quote, right now, to be honest, I'm not concerned about our seeding. Number one concern is health. That continues to be a huge concern for me, a huge point of emphasis. Can we find a way to get healthy come August 17th when the postseason begins? I have no idea who will be available on Saturday at 1 o'clock against Miami, because it seems like every day there is a change in the availability of certain players. Malone also said that his team hadn't had any 5-on-5 work except for in the scrimmages because of all the energy, injuries and concerns. They were playing this, we talk about the small ball lineup. Denver spent the entirety of the preseason scrimmages or the restart scrimmages playing a big ball lineup because their backcourt was riddled with injuries, and that doesn't change today. Unfortunately, if you're looking to get on Miami now, you've already missed it. You've missed the bet. I would never recommend anyone, even a situation like this, where the injuries merit the line move. You're still taking 4.5 points, the worst of it. And we're not talking about from a week ago. We're talking about from yesterday. So if you're going to consistently take 4.5 points, the worst of it, you're going to lose betting sports. There's no way around it. So I like the Heat. I got them in my pocket right now. At this number, no, you can't do it. That's why you want to be proactive, not reactive. Get down on these before the line's going to move, not after it's already moved, unless you like the Denver side, which I don't.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. If you do like the other side, then that's when you wait. But I mean, sometimes you kind of have to see an injury or something like that, especially when it's line move because of the injury. You kind of have to see it happen before. I actually. It possibly that when Murray got ruled in, there could be some line moves. But I mean, like I say, Ted and I always talk, so we already know that we've been if you guys they have online, but see, everybody can't bet. Some people have to wait till the day of, and it's real unfortunate. But if you can get an online book, then that's when you can bet. They'll have the lines like the day before. Or these cases, they kind of been there for maybe 2 or 3 days. So you could have possibly been and got the Heat at +1.5 or +105 for the money line. It switched to minus. It was still at +1.5 yesterday. Took it down, then it went back to like -1. So I remember this morning the Heat was still at -1.5, -2 all morning. So it started moving up to 2.5, 3.5 now. Now with the Jamal Murray's news, I still see a -2.5 there at BetOnline. Like I say, I'm one of those. I think that if the Heat do get it done in this particular game, the way that I'm looking at it, I think we know that the Heat, both of these teams struggle on the road. The Heat somewhat, maybe even more, but we'll see. Man, they're still in their same stage. Just that it's not their home crowd. They're not feeding off the energy. So I'm going to be interested to see how they find their own energy. Maybe Derrick Jones Jr. get a huge dunk or something, and the team get pumped up. Jimmy Butler should have his team pumped up, but without the Nuggets having any guards out there, man, I can't say I would still take Miami at this number, man. Even though it is taking the worst line. It's just, I think in this particular game, the way that I like to hear, I think that this is probably where the line should have been in the first place. The way I look at these two teams, I just think the Heat are stacked up better, a better offensive team. The Nuggets can struggle sometimes to go through Spurs 2-3 minutes where they can't struggle. That's with Gary Harris and Jamal Murray not out there. So I like the Heat in this game, man. I would say if you could find them at -2.5, -3 right now, I would still take it, man. Maybe throw a little money line on with something else, man. Let's get to the next game here, Teddy. We got the Jazz versus OKC. The Jazz, they took my money the first game, man. Jordan Clarkson came off the bench balling. Still think they're going to miss Bogdanovich at some point, but what you think in this game here, Teddy? We got OKC. They've been balling, one of the best, if not the best, point spread covering team in the NBA all year. You think it continues here tonight, Teddy?
So let me start with 1 point about what you were just saying, Jay. And it comes down to, you're like, some people can't bet until game day. We do this show for sportsbookreview.com. Okay. And at sportsbookreview.com, there are literally, you can find links and bonuses for literally dozens of books where you don't have to bet the day of the game. Okay. If you're limiting yourself to a single book that won't allow you to bet until the day of the game, you know what you're doing? You're fighting with one hand tied behind your back and blindfolded. All right? It's 2020. It's not 1981. You can find alternate sources. I encourage you. Check out sportsreview.com. Visit the books. Check out which ones you like. Look at the deposit bonuses. But if you're sitting there with one book, I say this over and over again because people don't do it. If you have one book, split your money and put it into two. If you have two books, split it up, put it into four. Every time you can turn these little half points and turn a push into a win or a loss into a push, it over time, it makes an enormous difference in your bankroll. So again, we do the shows for SBR because we believe in the product. SBR, again, sportsbookreview.com. You can see what's going on with reviews. I encourage you, take advantage of what sportsreview.com has to offer. I don't mind hyping our sponsor because they're good, at all.
Got it up right now.
When it comes to the Jazz and the Thunder, I think there's an inherent advantage to any team that played once already. I really do. So there's two games today between a team that played and a team that didn't. Utah and OKC. There's another one between the Lakers and the Raptors. Of the two, let me just stick with this one. The only way I can play it is Utah against OKC right now because they have that game under their belt. You're not going to make a bigger improvement than you will between game one and game two. Game one, you get the kinks out. Now you have film to work out. And game two, things start to come together. And the fact that Jazz won that game, they didn't play well. They didn't shoot well. The offensive flow wasn't there. The fact they won that game might well be a positive sign. And there are things to like about OKC. From a hunger standpoint, I'm reading the right things out of the Thunder. They certainly look good in the scrimmages. But a priori, I'm only looking at the teams that played once already. So it's Utah or pass for this better. And that's not a game I've gotten involved with. I have nothing in pocket for that one. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, me personally, I was leaning towards the OKC side. I mean, I couldn't talk anybody out or either side. I mean, Utah did look pretty good. I can't say pretty good, but they did come back versus the Pelicans. Hines, they did get down by 12, 14 points there. But I mean, part of it was obviously Zion not playing his full minutes. I mean, part of it was Gentry being a having his head up his ass. But I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But I mean, the Jazz, that you had to give them credit. They came back, they fought, they played defense. They're really going up against. It's really a team that's good defensively and really can be mediocre or great offensively, depending on the night. But you have a team that's always good offensively, but their defense isn't good on, you know what I'm saying, on particular nights. That's the difference between OKC here. The only advantage, in my opinion, for the Jazz here is that they have played a game already. Other than that, every single advantage goes to OKC. The bench scoring, I mean, you have Schroeder coming off the bench. Is somebody that can go head to head with Clarkson. He's a good defensive guard as well. You got Paul and SGA out there, Gallinari. They pretty much match up perfectly with the Jazz. Steven Adams, who looks a lot better, looks a lot quicker. I don't know what he's been doing, doing the mustache with, but he looked a lot quicker, man, with the spin moves and stuff. But him against Gobert, I think it's a damn good matchup, and I think that OKC might be able to get the best of them. Obviously, as 2 times in a row, they have played the game already, but I'm not that scared that they played that they have played the game already. Like I said, I think it was, in my opinion, a little bit fraudulent of a win, man. I think that the Pelicans, I think that was the right. I really think the Pelicans was the right side in that game. I'll go to my grave with that, man. But I always feel like they're my best. And I wouldn't argue anybody with taking OKC here, man. But like I said, it wouldn't be anything like a max pay or anything. But I think OKC gonna get them today, man. We'll see if the Jazz can go 2-0. If they look like a totally revamped team, it could possibly happen. Let's get to the next game here, Teddy. We got the Pelicans versus the Clippers. Clippers still missing Harold and Williams. Now they're favored by. We know they got the cover last time. They're favored by 5. They're laying points in this particular game. The Pelicans, I don't even want to say her name right now, Teddy, but what you think in this particular game? The Pelicans taking points now. They're not having to lay. We know it's a different type of role for them. You think the Clippers going to miss those 2 bench players here, or it won't matter at all?
So let me start with this, is that you made a great point that made me think about the OKC-Utah game differently than I did a minute ago. And that's the point about Schroeder and his ability to slow down Clarkson from getting to the lane. That's a really good point. Because it was the Jazz second unit that really sparked them last time around. So that's a really good point.
And they got Roberson back, who's a damn good defensive player.
Sure, as good as it gets. And that leads in to New Orleans and the Clips. All right. Right now, okay, we're basically 1 game in for most teams. Or by the end of the day, we'll be 1 or 2 games in for everyone. Already, I see what I want to bet on. I want to bet on teams that can get a stop in the fourth quarter. And if it's the Clips and the Pelicans, well, only one of those 2 teams is capable of getting a stop in the fourth quarter. That's pretty clear. So I'm not in a rush to lay points out of the gate. I'm not. And it's not, I don't have anything in pocket there. But if I'm playing the game, I want the team that has the defensive mindset, and that's the LA Clippers. If you can dig down for 6 minutes and play defense over the back half of the fourth, you can win games and cover point spreads in this range, in this bubble. The Clips have that mindset. I'm not convinced the Pelicans might have the mindset. I don't know if they have the execution. Lean LA. And lean, and again, look at the total on this. We're seeing 233s and even higher in a lot of spots.
Yeah, it's going up.
A lot of stuff's getting bet up today. Utah OKC's been bet up this morning. I wouldn't argue with an under in that game. Utah's going to run against people that'll run, right. But OKC's not super fast paced.
They're going to play some defense too,
and the Clips are going to play some defense. I don't know that I would play that one.
Man, I'm going to tell you something, Teddy. We know that the Lakers are 7.5 games ahead. It's only 6.5 games ahead of the Clippers for the number 1 seed. It's 7 games left. I mean, the Clippers pretty much deadlocked into that number 2 seed. What do they have to play for? I'm not saying that. Obviously, they're a much better team than the Pelicans when they're full strength. I mean, I just got a crazy feel about this one. I don't have anything in pocket, but call me crazy, but I actually do lean to the Pelicans. I mean, they have the motivation factor. They have more to play for, and obviously they have more to play for. They're trying to get in the playoffs. Clippers deadlocked. They don't have two of their highest scoring bench players or players on the team, period, pretty much. I mean, that's their big four, Lou Will, Hero. Well, you got to throw Beverly in there, and then Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George locked in. I don't think Kawhi gives a shit right now. I'm telling you, I mean, he if there's any player to be conserving himself for the playoffs, it's Kawhi Leonard. And even if he out there playing, I just don't think he's just locked in. He passing the ball. He don't even, so LeBron did kind of lock him up, but I think real deal Kawhi, if he was serious, he ain't letting LeBron, you know what I'm saying, lock him up. Not that easy. He ain't passing the ball that easy, man. That's just my thoughts on it. I just wouldn't lay the points here with the Clippers. It's just me personally. But like I say, I'm not taking the points with the Pelicans either. So you don't have to take it too much, you know what I'm saying, into account. I just got a crazy feel about it. The Clippers don't seem all the way locked in. And you can't forget that Lou Will and Hero is still not in there. But we'll see if the Pelicans actually come to play today. Because like I said, they come to play, they can play with any team, even with Zion playing limited minutes. Let's get to another intriguing matchup, though. Eastern Conference matchup here, Teddy. 76ers versus the Pacers. This one's been going up as well. Total been going up as well. I'm seeing open at 210.5. Then all the way up to what, 219.5 now? I see a 220.5 out there, Teddy. A couple of them. That's about 10 points on the total. Open at 4 for Philly, up to 6 now. I'm seeing what some. No, it's 5. I see a 5.5. Yeah, 6. I thought I saw a 6.5 there for a second there, Teddy. No, we talked about this already. What you got in it? What you got in pocket, Teddy?
Well, so I'll tell you what I have in pocket in a second, but I want to ask you conceptually.
Okay.
All right. You said the Clippers don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Lakers don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the 1. And the Bucks don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the 1. But when you talk about 3, whether you're the 3 seed, you're the 6 seed, you're the set, does it make any difference this year? There's no home court.
That's all the more reason why the Clippers don't care.
So the impression that I'm getting is that the teams that are on the outside looking in, the teams that are fighting for 8 in the West, every one of them is hungry. All right. Memphis, Portland, San Antonio, Sacramento, all hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everyone else in the league. in terms of winning. And again, it's still early. But what these guys are trying to do, they have 8 games to get themselves into playoff form. And that, I believe, is real. That they're like, we got 3 weeks, basically, a little bit less than 3 weeks, to get ourselves ready to start winning playoff series from, a couple of scrimmages and a couple of practices, which means it's a process, but it means that teams are a little bit perhaps less focused on wins and losses and more focused on improvement, regardless of seeding issues. So here's Indiana and Philadelphia. They both have the same record. Oh, they're fighting for seeding. No, they're not. There's no advantage. There's no home court edge here. So the one thing that stands out to me, 2 things stand out to me for Philadelphia. First is they've been miserable away from home all year. Okay, I'm much more interested in what teams were able to do in the hostile environments than they were able to do in their own friendly confines. And yeah, the Wells Fargo Arena was real good for Philadelphia. Every other venue, not so good. Now they're being asked to win by margin away from home. And I understand they've been practicing it and working on it and all of that, but we're still talking about Ben Simmons making the shift from the 1 to the 4, and Shake Milton's going to be playing the 1, and what's their depth look like? And I'm not laying 6 with Philly here. In fact, I found a plus 6.5. It was a rogue line. They may pop up again, but I put a 6.5 in pocket on Indiana. I thought that was very generous. And I understand Sabonis is out, and that's a big loss if you're going against Embiid. But Embiid missed the last scrimmages anyway. He's got his issues health-wise. I don't think he's going to go 40 minutes tonight. I thought even it's I wouldn't talk you out of 6. I just found the 6.5. But to me, I can't lay with Philly here. I don't think they're ready, and they're a transitioning team. They're going to have to show me. It's Indiana or pass for this better. And obviously, being that I found someone put it in pocket, that would be Indiana.
Yeah, it's an interesting game, man. Embiid could look rusty. I'm not an Embiid fan at all, but I mean, he is one of the better big men out there. It's just personally, I'm not a fan of the guy, but you can't let that get in the way of your campaign. I'm not really a Philly fan, period. They're definitely one of the main teams that I want to see how they play away from home. They're definitely, I'm not betting on them yet. Their first team did look good out there in the scrimmages, but like Teddy said, they have a lot of moving parts out there. I would start Richardson at the point guard. That's what I would do, but I don't know why they had Simmons starting point guard already. We'll see, man. They do have twin towers down there, Horford and Embiid. So we'll see, man. We'll see if Sabonis is really missing this game or the Pacers have enough bodies. Do we know if Oladipo? Teddy, I gotta ask you about
Oladipo's playing.
What's up, Oladipo? What the hell are you talking about? You don't know if you're gonna play or not. You didn't play it in the 3 scrimmages, and then you saying you might want to go to the house. I don't know, you just confused the hell out of me. I know he's saying he got a list to his body and stuff, but you already in the bubble. It just really tripped me out, Teddy. Because most of the people we see that didn't want to do it or didn't want to do the restart, they're not there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm under the impression that Oladipo is going to play. I'm under the impression that Brogdon is going to play. They're both still officially listed as questionable.
Oh, they did go through shoot around too, right?
Yeah. Miles Turner still listed as questionable. He's going to play. Glenn Robinson now doubtful for the 76ers.
Got you. Yeah, that was another little guard off the bench there. And I'm telling you, and Teddy, just real quick, we'll get to the next game. Teddy, I know you say I think they're gonna miss Trey Burke. I know you say he was a journeyman. Did you see him yesterday though? Hey, Teddy, can he get a little bit of credit? It's the only thing I'm saying. He was splashing threes out there like he was a Curry brother out there, Teddy. It's the only thing I'm saying.
So I seen him do that in Michigan back in the day, you know?
You a Michigan fan. You know about Trey Burke.
I'm Michigan grad, man.
He's a baller, Teddy. He might have been a journeyman, but sometimes young players take a little while to get it in the NBA, but he's still a baller, man. 76ers with their guard dip, they should have kept him. That's the only thing I'm saying. But we can go ahead and get to this last one, man. Line's been going down as well. We got the Raptors here. I wish Junior was on here. He said his team has something to prove here. They like I say, this line is even lower than versus the Clippers. Now, we know that the Clippers had some injuries, Teddy, but Lakers opened at 3.5 here, down to 2.5. We seeing some Raptors money here. What you think, Teddy? Raptors money line? They taking this game more serious than the Lakers, and the total opened up at 213.5, bet all the way up to 222. In my opinion, I think that kind of correlates with the Raptors. I think if it's going over, I think that correlates with Raptors. I think if it goes under, I think that correlates with the Lakers if they really bring that defensive intensity. What you think this game, Teddy?
So here's a couple quotes from Toronto, and one of them is that when some of these quotes that I read them, you want to read between the lines a little bit. Some of it is coach speak or player speak. They're used to talking to the media, but behind it, you get a sense of how the team is actually thinking. Kyle Lowry, quote, I think we have a group of professionals that go out there and know their jobs and understand their roles. And I think there's one thing I will say is we have true professionals, guys who want to win and guys who want to continue to chase what we want to get again. And that's holding the trophy at the end of the season. For us, it's about just being us, continuing to try to grow in these 8 games and then pushing forward to the next 3 months of the playoffs. Nick Nurse, quote, we like to think we're pretty good. I think we've got some special players. I think we got a good combination of experience with some energetic youth. I think we play defense and really like to play defense. Again, I think if you play defense the way we're capable of doing, you can go a long ways in any season. Toronto motivated to face the Lakers the first time they faced them. They beat them on the road at the Staples Center back in November. And those are bet on quotes from a Raptors team that plays defense, especially against a Lakers team that looked out of sync offensively for extended stretches in their opener against the Clips. But as I said earlier, the team with the game under their belt has an inherent edge against a team that doesn't. Yet the total here is getting bet up, despite the fact the Lakers are one of the teams that has the ability to clamp down and play defense, and the Raptors are one of the teams that has the ability to clamp down and play defense.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Lean under. Haven't pulled the trigger. Lean under in this one.
Wait till the last second. Well, I tell you, I can see it. Let me see. I see a 223 at Bovada, 223 and a half at $5. You might see it's still 221 at Bet Online, but we know the way those overs, yesterday people are gonna be betting hand over fist the overs today. So if you do like, I mean, at some point you wait at the last minute, you see an under that you like, wait till the last minute and you take that under, man, because people are gonna be betting the overs blindly today. And I mean, I wouldn't talk them out on some games, which what we saw yesterday. I mean, we seen 70-some point quarters and 80-point quarters. I'm like, where the defense? Ain't no D, man. But we'll see some closer to playoff time. It may, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait for the playoffs, Teddy. But my thoughts on this game. This is one where I think possibly, and so I know I see people in the chat. People were telling me that 2 days ago, Teddy, 3 days ago, Raptors gonna beat the Lakers, and I could see it. They did already beat them, but it's like, do the Lakers want to make a statement here as well? Hey, these are defending champs. Do they want to make a statement saying we saw them do it versus the Bucks, things like that? When they get up, the Lakers can be better than anybody in this league, man. So we'll see if they bring that lockdown D. I'm with Teddy, though. If both teams are in it, they under might be a damn good look because, I mean, we know Lakers going to bring defense intensity. The Raptors are as well. We just know that, I mean, them shots get to falling, man. We saw that yesterday, but because it should be a very intense game. Like Teddy said, Lakers got the little one-game experience over them. They did beat the Clippers over there. It was a little tight one, but, I mean, they kind of, in my opinion, Teddy, they let it be tight. I think they could have blew the doors off them pretty early. I think they kind of just let them boys kind of say, oh, you know, LeBron, we're going to let it be good for go down to the wire. You know, make it intense, you know. But that's the last thing I got, Teddy. No, I don't have anything on pocket in that game as well, man. We did get down on the Heat early, so we'll see we'll be able to see what happened in that one, Teddy. We're gonna need some luck on that one, brother. Not a whole lot of luck, but I just hope everybody betting on it, Teddy. They putting all over ESPN, all three starters. I just hate when they do that. You know what I'm saying? What you got any final words for us, brother?
Miami's laying 4 now.
4, yeah. And people, yeah.
The money's pouring. And again, you can't win betting. If you're like, all right, Teddy like Miami. Yeah, I like Miami at +2. I don't like Miami at -4. You can't win money.
That's a 7-point difference. It's not 6 because when they cross the 0, you got to count it for another one, man.
No, because the game can't end on 0.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, man. And you know what I mean. I'm counting as. Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
And then another move is a move from one to pick them, and another move from pick them.
Exactly. Yeah, but I need the Heat. I want to see the Heat smack them down. Honestly. Okay. I want to see them smack them.
Last thing on Lakers Raptors. This might be like you talk about the under. Fourth quarter defense. I mean, like the teams that are playing defense, we're seeing it in the fourth. Second half unders, in-game unders at after there's been a frenetic pace. Today might be a real good day to look for some of that kind of stuff. After yesterday's games went 6-0 to the over.
There might be a sneaky under there, man. That Lakers versus Raptors, sneaky, man. We know the Raptors gonna bring it. Their offense could possibly be rusty, man. That's gonna be a damn good game. But yeah, so obviously the Raptors have taken plenty of money here to get it down to 2.5. I'm still seeing some threes out there, but it's about half and half, 2.5 threes out there. Just line shot, man. If you like the Raptors, why not get 3 points? If you like the Lakers, you might wait. You possibly could even get a 2 or, you know what I'm saying, find you a 2.5, man. That's the show today. Got the Heat in pocket. Like I said, I'm leaning towards OKC as well. I wouldn't talk anybody out of OKC bet. I don't give a damn that the Jazz won their first game. I think it was fraudulent. I think they frauds. I ain't worried about them. OKC don't bring that D on them boys today, Teddy. Let them know where they can find you at, Teddy. Let them know what's your Twitter handle, buddy.
It's real simple. Teddy _covers. We're tweeting every day, and obviously it's a good time once again to be a sports bettor, to be an NBA bettor. So check it out again at Teddy _covers on Twitter. Thank you.
Exactly. My guy 77 figures say get on Pales +5.5. Hopefully get to 6. Hey, we didn't talk to anybody out. I'm not on it, but it's got a funny feeling about that game. Funny feeling. I could see Pelicans upsetting the Clippers here, man. I don't think they care. We'll see, and they've done it before too. They've done it before, but we'll see. We'll see. We got plenty of intriguing games tonight, man. Won't have a show for tomorrow. Got to have at least one day off this week, but definitely be back on Monday, man. Hopefully have my guy Teddy on as soon as possible. We got to coordinate that. Try to get my guy Teddy on back as soon as possible. But Jordan will be back on Monday, guys. For guys be asking about Jordan, myself, and Junior, man. We appreciate all you guys for watching the show, Jammin with J Money, and we'll be back Monday, man. Hit that like button and subscribe if y'all can. Peace.